Hello besties, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be making a corset top. We already drafted the pattern in a video I posted earlier, so if you haven't watched the video, I'll put the link in the description so you can check it out. You can watch before watching this one so you understand exactly what I'm doing here. So as you can see, my pattern on the table, already cut it out on my fabric. This is the front pattern and this is the back pattern. I cut out the main fabric and I also cut out a landing for it, the lining for it. So we have both the lining and the main fabric here already cut out. So I've gone ahead to add allowance like half-inch stitching allowance around the cup and inside the pattern. On the side of the front pattern I did not add any allowance, and on the down part, because I already added it on the pattern when I was drafting it, I added allowance down and by the side, so there was no point adding extra allowance when cutting out on the fabric. For the back pattern I did not add any allowance when I was drafting it, so I added half-inch allowance all round for stitching, and then I did not even add allowance at all. That's because the back pattern is going to have a lacing, not a zipper. Did not add any zipper allowance. It's only the pattern, so it's going to have a lacing and the lacing will open. Now you know lacing, so it depends on your preference. If you want it to be really opened after drafting your pattern, you can cut out about 2 inches from the center back, but I did not cut out anything and I did not hide anything. That's because I just want mine to be like, okay, I don't want it to open. So we will go ahead to stitch the pattern together, but before we stitch, I will first of all iron an A stay on the main fabric, and then I will iron paper stay on the lining. This will give it a very nice structure, but it's optional to use the two. You can use one, maybe only paper stay on the lining, but mine I'll be using a stay on my fabric and a paper stay on my lining. So after I'm done ironing the A stay and the paper stay on the fabric and the lining, we can go ahead and start stitching. I am done ironing the paper stay and the A stay on the lining and on the fabric respectively. And this is what we have. This is my lining, you can see, and this is my main fabric. You can see the inside. So I also iron it on the cup, both the lining and the fabric. So I'll just arrange it this other way so you understand what I'm doing. Okay, so this is it, the way it's arranged. So I'll start stitching them together now. So I'm going to start with cup 2 and 3. I'll pick cup 2 and cup 3 and I'll join it together. This is cup 2 and this is cup 3. If you watch the drafting video, you understand the cup 2 and 3 when I was naming my cup. So I'm going to join it together with the right side facing each other. I'm going to stitch it down. So I'll stitch it down and I'll stop at the bottom here. Pick the second one and do the same thing. I'll also do the same thing to my lining. This is my lining. So before we proceed to the next step, I'm done stitching this part of the cup together. I stitch both the lining as well, the both side and the lining. So I'll just notch it. When you are notching this, be careful not to cut into your seam. So you can see the down part of my cup is set. I'll go ahead and notch these other ones as well. Now the next thing I will do is to pick up the upper part, that's the number one part of this cup, and then I'll now pick this one and I'll join it together at the top. I'll just place the right side facing each other and I'll join it, and then I'll join the second one and also join the lining at the same time. Then I'll bring it back. So I'm done stitching the second part of the cup. You can see it as it is now. So I'll just notch it as well. So you can see my cup is set. So I will just trim out. I think the allowance is too big, so I'll just trim it off. I think this is okay. I'll go ahead and notch these other ones, the both the lining and the second cup. I'll notch and then trim off the excess allowance then before we proceed. Okay, so I'm done notching all of them, and I'll just keep this and we move over to joining the main bodies. So I'm going to pick the center front like this and place it on the side front, one of the side front. We with the right side facing each other like this. So I'm just going to stitch it down the at the opening. Then after stitching that side, I'll pick this other side and stitch it to this other side of the center front, and then I'll bring it back. So this is it. I'm done joining the front pattern together. So I'm going to keep the lining aside and the cup also aside. And then what I will do now is to create a boning channel. So I'll go ahead and create my boning channel. Already, the dart we have here is already one boning channel. Like we have two, the two side darts we have here is already a boning channel. So I'm going to create another one boning channel at the center front here. So I'm just going to measure what I have here. There is 2 inches. So the center of this will be one boning channel. So I'm just going to draw a straight line down. So now we have three boning channels. This is it. I'm done creating the boning channels, as you can see, front and the back. You can see how neat it looks. I'll keep this aside and then work on the back pattern. So this is my back pattern like this. This is the side back according to my pattern, and this is the center back. So I'll just pick the side back and the center back like this and place it with the right side facing each other, and I'll stitch it down. I'll do the same thing to the two sides and then also to the linings, and I'll bring it back. I'm done stitching. I'm done stitching the back pattern, joining the sides at the dart point. So this is one part of the side and this another part of the side. I did same for the lining as well. So I will go ahead and iron all my pattern, both the front pattern, the lining, the cup. I'll iron it very well, give it a good press, and then we proceed to joining everything together. I'm done pressing my fabric, both the front and the back and the pattern. You can see my cup, how clean it is. I press open the seams both for the lining and the main fabric. So press your own the same way. Look at. So now let's stitch the cup to the front pattern. To stitch this cup, I'll just pick one first. So when I pick this cup like this, I'll place it this way. Where I join this cup and where I join the dress, where I hold the dart for the main fabric, I'll place it like so, and I'll use a pin to hold it like this. Now just pin it round. Can either pin it round or use my hand to control it while stitching. So if you are not really good, just go ahead and pin it round. So I'll take this to my sewing machine and stitch it, and I'll do the same thing for the second cup and also repeat the same process for the lining, and I'll bring it back. So I'm done attaching the cup, as you can see, and I did it for the lining as well. So I'm using a ready-made bra cup for this. And this is the cup, as you can see. In order to attach this cup, I'll fold it into two like this, and I'll mark the midpoint of the cup. The middle of the cup, I'll just mark it. That's the middle. I'll do same for the second cup, and then I'll turn my fabric to the wrong side. Now I'll put a gum on the middle of this cup like so. You can put it on the fabric, you can put it on the cup anyhow. And then I'm going to attach the middle. The middle of this cup will go straight to the line. I'll make sure that it's at the center. So I'm done placing the cup. This is it. So I'll just take this to my sewing machine and I will stitch round the cup. I will just follow the line I stitched earlier, but this time around I will top stitch, holding both the cup and the fabric together round. Then I'll bring it back. So I'm done top stitching the cup. I'll go ahead and fix boning. I'll just pass it through the boning channel, and I'll leave a little space like maybe 1 inch. So I'm done fixing the boning and I just press it a little for it to relax. So it's time to join the lining and the main fabric together. So I'll keep this fabric like this, the main fabric, and I'll place this lining on top like this. The right side like this with the right side facing each other. And I'll make sure that the top align very well and every other part align very well. And I will stitch it. I'll close up the top of this dress and I'll close up the down part of the dress as well. Then I'll close the two sides. I'll just stitch it the two sides. But in one of these sides, I'll leave a small space open where I can bring out the right side. If I stitch it now, it will be the wrong side. So I'll leave small space where I can bring out the right side of the fabric. So I'm done stitching it round, as you can see, and I left this place open so I can bring out the right side. So I'm just going to put my hand inside from that place I left open. I'll bring out the right side of this. So this is it. I'll just go ahead and top stitch the opening, then we move to the back pattern. So for the back pattern, I'll go ahead and create my boning channel. So for my back pattern, I'm going to create two boning channels on each side of the back pattern. That will make it 4 boning channels for the back pattern. So one of the boning channels will be directly on the dart line that I stitched down. And then the second boning channel, I'm just going to measure 2.5 inches from my dart line and marked. So that's where I'll place my two boning. I'll just go ahead and stitch the bias to create the boning channel. I will do it for the both side, then I'll bring it back. So I'm done stitching the boning channels. Now the next thing I will do is to join the lining and the main fabric at the top here, just at the top. This is my center back. So I'll just place the lining on top of the fabric like this. Now I'm going to stitch this down up here, and I'll do the same thing to the second part, then bring it back. I'm done joining it at the top here, and before I close this up completely, I'll go ahead and insert my boning in the boning channels, and I'll also place my loops here. I'll be using for lacing because I'm not going to use eyelets, I'm using loops. So first of all, insert the boning and then create the loops. I'm done fixing the boning, and now I just want to place my loops where I want them to be before I can close up the lining. So this is my loops. I already created cut out stripes. I've already created the loops. So you just fix it on the fabric, and this is my center back now. So I'm just going to go ahead and place this, the first one, just very close to the lining at the top here. I cut out 2.5 inches for each of these loops. So I'll fold it like this and make sure it's equal. And then I'll place it like this. And I'll just use a pin to hold it down like that. I want the space between them to be 2 inches. So I'll just measure 2 inches and mark. Then I'll place the second one just at that 2 inches where I marked. I'm done pinning it down. I'll just take it to my sewing machine and hold it down. I'm done holding down the loops, as you can see. Look at it. So I'll now close up my lining. I'll just close it up and then I'll use 1/2 inch and stitch it round. Then at the side here, I'll leave a little space where I can bring out the right side of the fabric. I'll do the same thing for this other one, and then we move to the next stage. So I'm done stitching round, and I left the little hole, like I said, so I can turn it to the right side. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it to the right side now. So I've turned it to the right side now, and I'm going to go ahead and close up the opening by the side. I'm done stitching, closing up the side, and I'll just bring in the front pattern. Then I'll join the back pattern to the front pattern. Just going to place it. I'll stitch one at a time. Just shape it to your size. And if you want a snatch effect, you go ahead and snatch as much as you want. This is it after stitching. So I want to ask, will you like to wear your corset like this, or you rather want it to have a sleeves? Let me know in the comment section, and also make sure you like this video. I want my corset to have a sleeves. So I cut out this stripe. It's about 2 inches wide, and then for the men's sleeves, this is the remaining fabric. So my sleeve length will be 10 inches, about 10 inches, but added allowance. It's going to be a puff sleeve, so the allowance will make it puff. And then I cut out this one. It's just my remaining fabric. It's just a random cutout, but it's bigger than my usual sleeves. So it's folded into two like this. This is the two sleeves. So I'll just mark from this end. I'll just mark my cap height from this end. And then from this side, I'll go in by 5 inches. Then I'll just draw just like a curve, a sleeve curve. So I'm just going to cut this out. So this is the sleeves, and I'll pick one of the sleeves, and I'm going to place this like this, and then I'm going to place this on top of it like this, with the right side facing each other, and I'll stitch it down, only this top. Then I'll leave out the cuff. I will not join the cuff to the band. It's only this top, this straight side, that I'm stitching to the band. And after stitching, I'll bring it back. I'll do the same thing for both sleeves, and I'll bring it back. If there is any excess on the sleeves, print it on the band. I'm done joining the sleeves to the band, and now I'll just fix this to my corset. So I'm going to place my corset this way, opened like this. And then I'll take one of these sleeves, and I'm going to place it like this. I want the sleeve to start from the middle of my cup, the center of my cup, which is here. So I'm just going to pin this down at that point. Then I'm going to stitch it down to the joining between the back and the front. After that, I'll turn to the back and I'll place it the same way. I'll start from the darts where I made this second bowing. That's where I'll start from. So I'll just stitch it down like so. Let me pin it. So I'll stitch it and it will also stop where the joining stop. And then yeah, I will have my sleeve like this. So my sleeve is going to be like that. I'll join this and the second sleeve and then I'll bring it back. I'm done fixing the sleeves, and then I've gone ahead to fold my sleeve hem. So I'll be fixing elastic. I'll be passing elastic through the sleeve hem, and already cut out my elastic. My round sleeves measurement is 12 inches, so I cut out 11 inches instead since it's elastic. So I'll be passing it through the hem of this sleeve like that. I'm going to pin this so it doesn't go inside. So I'll now turn this to the wrong side of it, and I'll take it to my machine, my sewing machine, and then I'll close up the sleeves. I'll also fix the elastic on this other sleeves and then close it up as well, and that will be all. Note that there are so many ways to fix these sleeves. I use this method because I wanted the beginners to understand and also to follow up. So if you know any other method of fixing the sleeve, you go ahead and fix it. This method is just for the beginners to follow up and understand. Thank you so much for watching, and make sure you like this video, and if you are yet to subscribe to my channel, please go ahead and click on the subscribe button because more content are coming, more valuable content. Thank you so much once again, and I'm going to wear this so you see how it looks on me, and see you in the next video. Bye.